Treasury yields are popping as the market bets on an aggressive Fed. And that's our top story today on the Wall Report. I'm your host, Greta Wall. The 10-year Treasury yield jumped above 2.5% today, the highest level it's seen since May of 2019. And this jump comes as traders continue to hike their expectations for the next Fed meeting. More than 70% now say they believe the Fed will raise rates by 0.5% in May. That's according to CME Group's FedWatch tool, which tracks trader sentiment ahead of every Fed meeting. And those rising Treasury yields are weighing on the market. The Dow and the S&P both trading flat today, with the Nasdaq falling about 1%. Now, meantime, oil prices are up again today and on track for the first weekly gain in 3 weeks. West Texas Intermediate crude futures rising more than 1% to about $114 per barrel. Brent crude futures also up more than 1%, topping $120 per barrel. Now, this gain comes despite Kazakhstan's energy minister announcing some crude exports will resume along the Caspian Pipeline Consortium on Russia's Black Sea coast. And natural gas prices are also up today after the U.S. and the European Union announced an agreement to wean Europe off of Russian natural gas. Those prices up more than 1.3% to over $5.50 per cubic foot. Now, the U.S. and EU agreed to form a joint task force aimed at boosting energy security for Ukraine and Europe for the next 2 winters. That task force for energy security will be chaired by a representative from the White House and a representative from the European Commission. The U.S. will work with international partners to provide at least 15 billion cubic meters more of liquefied natural gas to the EU this year, and then the EU must work toward ensuring demand for 50 billion cubic meters per year of extra liquefied natural gas from the U.S. until at least 2030. Now on to earnings. NIO shares are down nearly 10% despite beating Q4 revenue expectations after Q1 guidance came in short. The Chinese electric automaker reported an adjusted Q4 loss of 16 cents per share on $1.55 billion in revenue. NIO also said it delivered 25,034 vehicles last quarter versus 24,945 expected. But the company did forecast Q1 revenue between $1.51 billion and $1.57 billion, which was short of analyst expectations. NIO also said it expects to deliver between 25,000 and 26,000 vehicles this quarter, which was also shy of the Wall Street's expectations. Now, the Honest Company shares are plunging about 30% in today's session after missing Q4 expectations. The consumer goods company reported a loss of 10 cents per share on $80.4 million in revenue, and that was worse than analyst expectations on both the top and bottom line. Sales in Honest household and wellness business tumbled 68%. The company blamed that drop on reduced COVID-19 related consumer demand for sanitizing and disinfecting products and face masks. Honest forecast Q1 sales will fall 15% year over year and said it expects full year sales growth to be flat. Meantime, Bed Bath & Beyond shares are rallying today after reaching a deal with activist investor and GameStop chairman Ryan Cohen. In a press release, the company announced 3 people from Cohen's investment firm RC Ventures will join the Bed Bath & Beyond board of directors. Now, 2 of them will join Age Strategy Committee to explore alternatives for the Bye Bye Baby chain. And this comes after Cohen revealed a nearly 10% stake in the company earlier this month and called on the board to restructure the business. Part of his restructuring recommendations did include a spin-off of the Bye Bye Baby franchise and then selling Bed Bath & Beyond to a private firm. Meantime, cannabis stocks are extending Thursday's rally after the House announced it will vote on a legalization bill next week. Tilray shares are up more than 4% after surging nearly 22% on Thursday. The House Rules Committee will hold a hearing on the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement, or MORE, Act on Monday. The full House is then expected to vote as early as next week. Now, that bill would remove marijuana from the federal controlled substances list and eliminate all criminal penalties associated with it. It would also impose a federal tax on marijuana sales. A similar bill was approved by the House back in December of 2020, but it was never considered by the then Republican-controlled Senate at the time. And taking a look at the economic data of the day, consumers are feeling even worse about the economy as inflation remains high. The University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index dropped unexpectedly to 59.4 at the end of this month. Now, that was an unexpected drop from the flash reading of 59.7 earlier this month and down more than 3 points compared to February. It's the lowest reading since August of 2011 and even worse than the early days of the pandemic. Sentiment about current economic conditions dropped to 67.2, while the expectations index for the next 6 months fell to 54.4. And consumers also hiked their one-year inflation forecast, saying they expect inflation to remain at 5.4% 12 months from now, which is the highest expectation since 1981. Respondents to the survey did predict inflation will remain at 3% 5 years from now. And about 32% of consumers said they expect their financial situation to be worse a year from now, which is the highest level ever recorded by the index. And wrapping things up with the housing market, National Association of Realtors reporting today that pending home sales plunged 4.1% in February. That represents a decline in the number of contracts signed to purchase a home, with those sales expected to close in 30 to 60 days. Now, this is a grim sign for the usually busy spring home buying season, as pending sales in February are a forward-looking indicator for existing home sales in March and April. Pending sales were down 5.4% compared to February of 2021, as rising mortgage rates squeezed buyers who were already facing high prices. This is the fourth straight monthly decline in pending sales. Let me know in the comments if you're one of those people who might be looking for a home, or are you waiting it out for the market to change? And do you even think there will be a shift in the housing market anytime soon? Tell me your thoughts. I'll see you all back here for the Wall Report next week. Be sure to have a great weekend and give this video a like before you go.